let's talk about Tinubu's reaction. And your governor, the governor of this Reverend Father governor of a person. What the hell is, I don't know. One thing is Tinubu's reaction. Another thing is the governor's reaction. Who is the son of the soil? Barrister, I don't understand. The governor had to suspend his personal aide, a trusted aide of his, because he participated in the protest, just to please the Fulani Cabal. What, I don't understand what's going on with the governor. Why is the governor on the side of the Fulani Cabal? Why is the governor against his own people? I thought this man was the man. The governor was very, very loved, and of course he overwhelmingly won the election. There's no doubt about that. And based on the report we had in the past, he was a loved governor by his people. Why is he? And besides, this man is a Christian, a Reverend Father. He can't even stand for his own people. What is going on?
Well, the governor is extremely popular. As to suspending his aid, it's not exactly his aid. The person that was suspended is an aide to the governor.
Wow.
It is that aide that suspended his own assistant. It's not the governor's aide
not
that
governor
was
himself.
No, the senior special assistant.
Yeah, but what is the governor doing over this issue?
No, in the midst of all this, when Tinubu was coming, when this attack happened and they were going up and down, at the same time he had received security reports from the Sankara ISIS. So he was dealing with some issues in another place, all within the same time. What I find highly objectionable is the near attack on protesters. In an atmosphere of this thing, people should be allowed to vent their anger on the streets. And that is what people were demonstrating. To now use security forces to try to chase them away, I highly and strongly disagreed with that. And making matters worse, they brought helicopters from the Air Force Base to overfly the demonstrators. Now, is it not ironic that we have one of the biggest Air Force bases in Makudi, not very far from the scene of this massacre? We have an artillery regiment in Makudi. We have a Navy establishment in Makudi, not far from the scene of this incident. The Air Force Base and the Air Force in general, they have night imaging equipment for their helicopters and for their aircraft, but they were nowhere to be found when this thing occurred in the night, only to bring up your helicopters in the day to chase demonstrators. Is that ironic? It is a very, very inhuman when they do that. They should have kept quiet, allow the people to vent their people's children, people's wives. Somebody lost all five of his children, burnt in the house, and he wants to cry, and you still say he cannot cry. What kind of what manner of people are this? You beat somebody and you say he cannot cry. You kill somebody's children and you say he cannot cry. That aspect of coming out to prevent or disperse the protesters was very cruel, and whoever was behind it should be condemned. If the governor is behind it, it should be condemned. Anybody who was behind it.
No, what do you expect? Of course, the governor, because the body language, the truth is, I understand you're trying to actually place balance something, the situation with the government, with the governor's actions. But the truth is, the action, I always look at people's actions. That is what matters to me. The man's body language, especially during this last incident, honestly, the governor's body language is suspicious. I don't get it. His body language speaks to being on the side of the Fulanis against his own people.
You know, another big tragedy and disappointment is the politicization, internal politicization of the killings by the political actors within the state. You know the governor is leading a faction of the APC, while the secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, is leading one faction. So they have not behaved like elder statesmen. They have not behaved like adults. They are behaving like children. In the face of massacres and genocide, they trade blames. They trade blames to achieve political dominance over the other. They have politicized the killings in a very disappointing.
Honestly, I
manner.
didn't expect this from the governor. The governor
let me
is a
finish.
spiritual leader, for God's sake.
Let me finish. Let me tell you the extent of the politicization. During Oton's time, when he had issues with Akume, where Akume was minister, and he gave a press statement and said that the killings are being organized from the government. And the journalist asked, is it federal government? He said, no, it's the state government. He blamed Otom for organizing the killings, so to speak.
Otom that was the most
promulgated the anti-open grazing law.
Correct.
And sacrificed
honestly
his reputation.
Otom was the best governor when it comes
Buhari
to taking care of this.
Everything. Yes. So in this instance now, the governor, his own problem is that he has also traded blaming the National Assembly caucus from Benue State. Although it is not in respect of this killing, it is in respect of the problems in the Sankara axis, which are more or less internal. He blamed the National Assembly caucus for that. The end result is that there is no unity among the political elites in Benue State. And this has opened up the way for the enemy to do what he does with impunity. Otom tried to bring the attention of the world, and that's one of the things that brought him into direct conflict with Buhari. When about 300 people were killed, he wanted to stage a mass burial where CNN, the international media, and everybody will be there. And Buhari and the National Security Advisor then told him that it will bring very negative publicity to Nigeria. So they don't want him to do that. Otom went ahead and staged the burial. CNN, in fact, the federal government banned all federal government media from covering that mass burial. But international media like CNN, BBC, they were all there. They covered and that was the beginning of Otom's enmity with Buhari then. So one way we can do this thing is to also give a mass burial of this thing, let the attention of the world. The thing is international media have taken up, but we should not stop there. We should continue internationalizing the killings, making the whole world know the truth and what is happening in Benue State.
Let me play this clip, Barrister, so we can talk about it thereafter. Barrister, that was school children under rain. I don't get it. What kind of president do we have? Now, this is the best way this man could respond to people, a mourning state, a state that was thrown under mourning. For God's sake, when you are, this happens when you have a president visiting a state, having a state meeting, a state visit. And so, but this is not a state visit per se. A state visit is something that is supposed to be, it comes with some ceremonies. There's no doubt about that. When a president is visiting a state to actually maybe commission some projects here and there to encourage, to boost the state image. But this is a case of condolence visit. Tell me, what manner of, how manner of human being can be this insensitive? A father, someone who calls himself the father or the father of the nation. How can you be this insensitive? How can a human being be this, a leader be this insensitive to visit a state in a ceremonial way, leaving school children, kids on this under the rain? For God, what? This is why I have issue with the governor. The governor is the one who did this nonsense, because I mentioned his body language. His body language is just his body language gives him away. That's just the reality. He makes him complicit in this whole corrupt system. Because obviously the governor gave this kind of gave us this impression by instructing school authorities, government subordinates to do this nonsense, to welcome the president. And Tinubu, for God's sake, even when he visited, he didn't even visit the scene. So why did you? I asked myself when I watched it, whatever, I read the report. I asked myself, what the hell was the reason behind this man? Then why was he in the Benue State? Why did he visit in the first place? When a president is visiting, making a condolence visit or a visit of sympathy or empathy to a state, the first point of contact or first point of call is the location where the incident took place, whatever incident it is. But in the case of Tinubu, what did he do? He basically avoided that by excusing it away. He said bad road. So whose responsibility was that? Bad road. Even if we had bad road, couldn't you have visited the site with a helicopter, with a chopper? We have presidential helicopter. Couldn't you have visited the site with helicopter?
There's no bad road to that place. Yerwata is by the roadside. The newly constructed expressway from Abuja to Makudi, there is not one single pothole. It is a road constructed by Chinese Harbor Engineering Company under a PPP arrangement. They are mounting toll gates on that road. There is not a single pothole from Makudi to Abuja.
So why did he use that as an excuse?
Yellow water is by the roadside, so there is no issue of bad road. I blame the local authorities. This was not a visit in peace. This was not a visit to commission project. This was not a walking visit. There was absolutely no reason to declare one day public holiday, to mobilize school children to come out and line the roads. And it reminds me of what they used to take us to do during Kawan's time when we were in primary school. When they hear every governor is coming, the whole schools will come out and line the road.
Barrister, sorry to cut you short, because I am enraged. Barrister, I'm enraged. What made this useless governor of your state, what made him to be popular, for God's sake? I don't understand. What did he do for the state? What has he done?
Well, that is a very long story. The governor is extremely popular, and most of us support him. And even today, if they should conduct any election, he is going to win hands down. Wow. Because the problem in the state, Benue has no industry of any kind. Benue is a civil service state. If you do not pay the salary of civil servants, nothing by way of economic activity or financial this thing will take place in the state. Even the people selling chicken, yam, palm wine, anything that you are selling, if the civil servants do not receive their pay, your market is dead or down. Previous governments have been owing civil servants for long. sometimes upwards of 10 months without pay. The governor came and he has been paying the civil servants steadily. There's no month they pay them as at when
Okay.
due every month.
All right.
That alone, I can begin to tell you there are many things that the governor has done that has made
Okay,
him
now you just
very
mentioned
popular.
something about this. Honestly, I'm still going back to Tinubu because that man is. I've never seen an Buhari was the most irresponsible president we ever had. There's no doubt about that. But I'll still go back to Tinubu's matter. But before then, you just mentioned if the election were to be held today, the governor will still win. I don't know. Even you mean up at this time, even when we are, as we speak right now, people do not see the negative action of the government, that his action is actually against the people.
You have to understand the local politics. Local politics and the way politics is played in Nigeria is very complicated. I have discussed some aspect of it on your show in the past. In the state as of now, or with the way politics is conducted in Nigeria, you have to placate, you have to be in the good books, you have to make the leader, the president, happy, even if you do not like him, even if you do not support him. So I'll go back to Otom. Otom suffered for 8 years because of his enmity with his disagreement with Buhari, because of these killings. He was ostracized. He was banned from seeing the president for all the time that he was governor. He could not see the president. In context of Nigerian politics, it made him he became a pariah. He could not access loans from the bank that was to be guaranteed by the federal government to settle the civil servants' outstanding salaries and allowances and other things. He was blocked from financial perquisites in so many ways. So that is how politics is played in Nigeria. If you do not make the leader happy, so I can understand the governor who is fighting the secretary to the government of the federation, who has influence with the president, who has influence and faction in the state, who want to unseat the governor going into the second term. I can understand the caution that the governor is trying to face. He too has learned from what happened to Otom, and he's trying to play a bit walking a tightrope, sort of. It's not good. And besides, they are in the same political party with the president. The second term elections is coming very soon. Politicking has started. So I can understand the governor's caution and some of his actions, even if they do not seem to be positively in support of his
this is the reason why I hate this so-called democracy, honestly, because it's a system that actually forces people to be hypocritical, to be pretentious, to not be who they are. So, and that is why I just hate it, because I hate politics. Politics does not move a society, especially the Nigerian society. Politics will not move us forward. That's just the reality. Back to the President Tinubu, barrister. How I don't understand, why will this man be this irresponsible? Can you make sense out of this action that this man exhibited, the president Bola Tinubu exhibited? You visited a state to condole with them, empathize and sympathize with them.
You see,
does his action actually speaks to why the reason behind his visit? Why like I said, he did not visit the site. Why did you visit? I don't understand. Why did you visit the state then?
Let me straight away make the point that his visit was more political than condolence. And it happened in the aftermath of criticism, strong criticism. If you heard
Yes, he wasn't.
Aisha,
He didn't intend to be there. Yes, of course.
Aisha that said this was an impeachable offense for this kind of thing to happen, and the president refusing to visit that place. So it was only in the aftermath of that criticism and many others that he
Yes,
now decided to visit there.
grudgingly go attend.
Grudgingly, it was. That is why I say it was more in the nature of politics than real and genuine condolence. So he went there. According to him, he could not visit the place because he has seen the video, the videos and pictures of what happened there. So there's no need for him to go. There was a need for him to go and address the community, the survivors.
Correct.
Were in that place, in that village. They did not even take the.
So, Barrister, my thought is this. My thought is this. This man is just playing to the Fulani Cabal. He's just playing to their gallery. That is just what he's just being political about this. He's just doing this to win the.
Of course. Like I said, everything in Nigeria is politicized. He is facing re-election, and a chunk of the North is viciously against him. So he does not want to come out forcefully and put the blame on them. He is also walking a tightrope, just like I described the actions of the governor of Benue State. He is also looking at 2027. That if I alienate further, let me not use the word alienate, further alienate, because he has already alienated a chunk of the northern populace. Should I go ahead and take more steps and even infuriate them more if I say they are responsible for this? So that is what decides the actions of our political leaders, our leaders. That is simply politics that determine what they will say, determine where they will go, determine what they will do. That is
honestly, this is one of the reasons, so many reasons why I just feel and I think Nigeria is just not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't understand. This is just it. I don't. We really need to stand up and revolt against the corrupt system that is being led, initiated, and being led by corrupt people. Honestly, it is just a situation where you just don't you by default just play along with how what suits the system, even when it is when the playing along is inimical and injurious and evil against the people. It is so sad, honestly.